welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jennifer, and today we are going to be trying out the new Tom Ford Insolent Rose. Gotta love the name. But it's going to be kind of a relaxed, get ready with me today, guys. So if you're in the mood for that, then stay tuned. If not, I'll try to put a timestamp or something so you guys can just see the quad alone. So let's go ahead and dive in. It's been one of those kind of days, guys. So I just thought we'd do a relaxed, kind of get ready with me. I'll bring out some oldies but goodies. We'll use the Tom Ford, I promise. It won't take forever. Try to pull my hair back. Yeah, you know, as my hair goes crazy. I don't, if you guys watch my channel, for those of you who are new, I suffer from migraines, and I had, you know, like I've been fighting off, I'm using the GRWM watery oil. This is what I use for pretty much every day as a primer. I don't really use like a traditional primer. My skin, again, if you're new, is really, really dry, and I find like this is just like the perfect moisturizer. It gives my skin a glow, and I don't really have to worry about products like sort of sticking to my face because my skin is so dry that I don't need that part. But yeah, so I suffer from migraines, and I've just been fighting off, you know, like I have a medication that I took, and it just kind of makes you a little drowsy. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna film, I'll just, you know, but then I was like, you know what? Let's just go ahead, kind of have a relaxed, get ready with me, and we'll still, you know, use the quad. Yeah, and you know, package is missing, and you ever have just one of those days like nothing is going right today. so yeah. So, you know, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to use today in regards to a foundation. And I thought I'd use the GRWM L'Essential. If you guys aren't aware, there is a new soft matte formula. It's available on Selfridges. And Lexi Zhang has a really good video about it. I will link her video above, and so you can see it. I have not bought it yet because, again, I don't generally buy matte formulas because of my dry skin. And but I have been looking for a formula that, you know, is more matte, like a soft matte, like a velvet matte. I have mentioned that I've used the Chanel, the Velvet. I really do like that one, so maybe I'll just go buy that one again. But I've heard, you know, interesting things about this, and this one, which is the original, I absolutely love. I have it in 00C, as in cool. You'll see it's like a super thick, not at all runny foundation. Lexi has it in 00N, so it's more of a neutral. I'm more of a cool skin tone than she is. This works pretty well for me. I know it looks a little light when I first put it on, but to be honest, it kind of oxidizes a little bit. Most foundations do. And so, you know, it looks fine after it's been on for a couple of minutes. And I'm just gonna use a sponge today because, as I've indicated 3 times now, I've had issues with the headache. It sounds funny, but those of you who have migraines, you'll understand, like even the brush kind of bothers me when my headaches, you know, get bad. And I get like cluster headaches and migraines. I've had them, you know, since I was a little kid, and there's not, you know, much you can do. They have like better treatments now, but than when I was a kid. But you know, there isn't much. Like, you either suffer from them or you don't. And my dad had them, and so he was kind enough to pass that on to me. But yeah, like even sometimes like the sponge bugs me. It's just so odd. Anyway, so this foundation, as you can see, like already, it's already like blended into my skin. It doesn't, you know, I actually have thought of like trying the One Step Up 01C, or I don't really remember. It's like there's one shade a little bit deeper. But honestly, I think this works pretty well. I mean, it's a little cool, it's a little light, but I don't think it's anything, I don't think it's bad. So, yeah, I'm just sticking with what I know. Okay, so now that that's on, I'm gonna take the Sisley Stylo Lumiere, and you know, I don't even know if this is a shade. Oh yeah, it's 1. There's a huge 1 on the bottom. and you just twist it. It's got the little sponge. I'm just gonna lighten up this area a little bit here. I have mentioned a couple of times that I don't use concealer, and I know a lot of people kind of freaked out about that. And I want to just say, I don't use concealer under my eyes. I do use like spot concealer when I need it. One of the other things about having really dry skin is I don't really have acne. I didn't have any when I was a teenager. I don't really have any now. But trust me guys, don't be jealous. The oilier your skin, the younger you look, you know, as you age. When you have really dry skin like I do as you age, the lines look worse because of the dry skin. So actually having oily skin is not at all a bad thing. You know, everybody wants what they don't have. So I would just say, for me, I don't really need concealer. Like I don't get red spots or anything. I do get rosacea, like through here. I did have years ago laser treatments around my nose where the rosacea is the worst. It's still there, but it's not nearly as bad as it was. And then when we were still going out in the world, I used to get laser treatments for my face probably twice a year. I forget the name of the one, Clear and Brilliant lasers, and it's not as a severe laser. Like when I say severe, somebody out there who's actually technically knowledgeable about this will explain it to you, but there are different types of lasers, and some are more they do more resurfacing than others and are stronger than others. The Clear and Brilliant, I may be red for like a day and then it's gone. And it helps build collagen and it helps get rid of some of the redness. And that's really the only treatments I get. I have heard about like other stuff like, I forgot what it's called, microdermabrasion and stuff, but my skin is so sensitive, I don't know if that would just damage my skin. The laser seems to work. My skin does get really, really red in reaction to it, but then, you know, it's gone a day later. So, but I haven't done that in over a year because I haven't been outside. You know what I mean. All right, so let's do powder. This is the Eclat Dew powder by Chantecaille. I like this powder. It has a little bit of a glow to it. It's not as mattifying. They do have, you know, I love the Chantecaille powders. They have some ones that are more mattifying than this. They have ones that are glowier than this. There's one that they have that's called Candlelight that I absolutely love. But I'm gonna use this as a bit of setting powder. I'm just using a very fluffy, this is a La Mer brush, and setting it down. I don't always use, in fact, I rarely use powder in between, but today my skin is being a little odd, and it's a little oilier than it is. I mean, we're talking tiny amounts, guys, but I figured I'd put some powder down. And, you know, talking about brushes, I did a live with Alexi Zhang, who I mentioned earlier, on Just Glow Firefly's channel last week, I think, by the time this goes up. And we did a whole 2 hours about brushes. And if you guys are interested in me linking the brushes that I use in the description box, I can do that. I've never done that. I've only done like the makeup that I use and sometimes like the earrings or clothes if I think you guys will be interested. But I haven't linked brushes. If that's something that you want me to do, I could certainly do that. Or I could just put together sort of like the brushes that I tend to use and put them there. Let me know. I don't know if that's helpful for you guys. I mean, if it is, I'd be happy to do it. So I'm gonna use the Chantecaille Goa today, bronzer. I'm so sorry, I've forgotten who asked me. This is part of having the headache. But one of you did ask me specifically about Goa, and I know you've picked it up, and I can't wait to hear if you like it. But I will say, I really like the Goa bronzer. I feel like it has some similarities to the Gucci without the smell, without the fragrance. So if you are someone who really likes the Gucci bronzer, but you don't want fragrance, or you're sensitive to fragrance, I think this is a really good option for you. I've had this for a long time and I really like it. It's, like I said, it's got more of that reddish undertone. I think you can see that showing up on camera when I put it on my skin. It definitely is a little bit deeper. I have it in the, you know, the red casing. I think it comes in a different casing now, but it doesn't, it's the same product. And it is a little bit deeper and it looks dark when you first see it. So don't worry about that though. I'm very, very pale. As I just mentioned, I'm a 00C in the Guerlain, which is the lightest shade they have. So I'm pretty pale. And you know, if you go in, and I didn't go in with a super light hand today, I thought I would bronze myself up a little. I think it looks fine. It's a little dark right now. I'll blend it all out at the end. But because I put the powder down first, it's actually looks a little bit darker. When I don't put powder down and I just have my natural skin, strangely enough, the bronzer doesn't look as dark. I'm not exactly sure what that's about. Something to do with oils, but you know, my brain can't process that today. Sorry. It's just not functioning. And then we're gonna use the Chanel Fleur de Printemps. I don't know. Temp. I know you're supposed to pronounce like every letter in the French language and I always screw it up. But this is from the new spring collection and I did a whole video on it. I'll link it above. But I really, really love this highlighter and blush. Now, Chanel is actually coming out with another collection. When this goes up, it'll be like a couple days after this video goes up. And I am actually picking up practically all of that collection. I absolutely love it from what I've seen. So I'll have, you know, reviews of that for you. I love Chanel. I used to work for Chanel forever ago, so I am gonna pick that up. But this collection, I really like. I really like the nail polish that came with it. The mascara is actually very pretty. It's the terracotta one. It's kind of like got more of a brown look. It's like a subtle look. It's nice. And this and the lac, which I now know is French for lacquer. Thank you to whoever told me that, and I've forgotten who that is too. Sorry guys, I'm a little off today. So let's go ahead and use the highlighter first. Let's use the classic face brush. This is the Sonia G. This is like the little travel set. Kayaki? I could be wrong. But we're gonna use that for highlighter today because I really do want to start using the brushes that I don't actually like show you guys that often. I feel like sometimes, you know, I use them, but I don't use them on camera, so you don't really get to see how well they work. And this is a really pretty, beautiful brush, actually. I think it works really well. They are very small. This is the, you know, like short barrel, short handle. So if you don't like that for whatever reason, if you really don't like a short brush, do not pick up this part of her collection. But Sonia G has beautiful brushes and I pretty much love everything I've ever bought. All right, so then we're gonna use the Chikuhodo. This is the cheek and highlight brush. This is the Z series. Z series is, I believe, blue squirrel or maybe gray squirrel, and super soft, incredibly soft. And the Z series is also, I will tell you, very expensive. It is one of the more expensive lines that I've purchased. There are even more expensive lines than that because like anything in the world, when you start getting into it, right, you know, you can spend as much as you'd like on things. But it is a beautiful series, and the Z series of the Chikuhodo are some of the softest brushes that I have. I also have some of the Chikuhodo FO series. These are Silver Fox, and these are incredibly soft as well, but I don't have any of the face brushes in this. I just have eye brushes. All right, so I'm gonna just buff that in a little bit. This is, again, a Sonia G. This is the Smooth Buffer. This is a smaller buffer brush, which I believe is available on Beautylish, and I know that the Face 1 brush just came back. This is the Face 1, which is just a little bit bigger, and you can see, like, if you're blending out or buffing out a look, you know, this is gonna be like more all over face, and this is gonna be a little bit more targeted. I use them both. I love them both. Don't make me pick. Okay, so I think we have a nice you know, warm, slightly bronzed look down. And we can go ahead and dive into the quad. And I will, like I said, I'll put a timestamp so you guys, some of you who are just want to come right to the quad, you can do so. So I did mention this in the other video when I did the Desert Fox. I showed you what this looked like, and of course I'll swatch it for you again. But I just want you guys to see, this is a very, I think, spring-like quad, very pink. It's Insolent Rose, so it makes some sense. And it's really pretty, but it's not anything like the Desert Fox, in my opinion. I think they're very different. And that's not a bad thing at all. I just think it's really interesting because usually when there's a collection that comes out from like a Tom Ford or whatever, you know, there's a similar color story for this. So I don't know what happened, and I didn't see anything else come out from Tom Ford, like, you know, lipstick or whatever else. So I don't know. I don't know if one was supposed to be like a autumn thing or who knows. So I thought I'd first show you just a couple of comparisons. So this is the Pink Sakura from Dior that just came out. You can see the Pink Sakura is more purple, definitely, more plum. The Rose has more of a rose shade, rose color story, and more of a brown than, I say, plum. Then I also have, and yes, for those who are asking, this is the missing quint in Dior. So I now have every single Dior quint that came out starting last year. I have all of them. So I will eventually rank them. I was actually waiting until I had all of them because I just want to be fair. So I don't even know how many that makes. It's like close to 20. It's not good. All right, anyway, so this is the Pink Coral. If you look at the Pink Coral next to this, obviously this is a much pinker, you know, more magenta type of quad. I don't think there really is a lot of similarity there. Then I thought, okay, what else do I have that might, you know, look a little like it? Like, I don't have a lot of pinks, that's the thing. I pulled out Fire Rose from Charlotte Tilbury, and I was like, nah, not really. I mean, to me, that doesn't look, it doesn't look the same. Just doesn't, you know, doesn't call to me like it's the same kind of color story. And then I was like, all right, well, Pat McGrath, because Pat McGrath, of course, has the whole Divine Rose and Rose Decadence. So I'm pulling out Rose Decadence because Divine Rose and Divine Rose 2 are, you know, those mothership palettes, and that's a different kind of aesthetic. So I was like, is that similar? And honestly, no. Like, this is a much more, I don't know, like colorful palette. But the Pink Champagne in here, I thought might be similar to the one that's in this Rose Insolent, so I'm gonna swatch that for you. So let's go ahead and do the Rose. I love the name, Rose Insolent. I mean, you know, Insolent Rose, sorry. Like, that's just funny. So this is a very powdery formula. It's creamy though, like it feels nice. I don't know how this is gonna perform on the eye. I did do the Desert Fox and really liked the Desert Fox. The Desert Fox, as I've said, is a very warm color story, and I really enjoyed it. I think it looks really pretty. But I like a warm color story, first of all, and I thought it looked really nice on my older skin. So, all right, so that's the Insolent Rose. And let's do the Pink Sakura, the new Dior, because I think that might be one that has some similarities. I find a lot of times, you know, when collections are released, you'll see similarities across some of the luxury brands, like the 2020, sorry, last year. We saw a lot of reds, you know, a lot of reddish kind of colors that came in the Chanel quads and Mitza and Dior. Yeah, there was a bunch. And I think, you know, that happens. You sort of get an iterative phase, like one person comes out with it, it's popular, and then other people follow. So that's not a huge shock. So also it's Valentine's Day in February, so you're gonna see some of these pinky kind of color stories. But I would say if you look at Pink Sakura next to Insolent Rose, I think you can see that's pretty different. It's not really that similar. I don't even really see any similar shades, to be honest. I mean, the color story is similar, yes, but they're pinks. But this is a much rose, like light pink rose kind of thing. And yeah, I don't see that in this. Let me pull out the pink champagne though. This is the Pat McGrath, and I'm just wondering, okay, it's a similar pink, but the Pat McGrath, not surprising because it's Pat McGrath, is more like complex satiny kind of shade, whereas the Tom Ford is more of like a shimmer topper type of shade. And I don't think there is any other. Let's try this one. Oh, that one's kind of similar too. A little bit, yeah. So those two are kind of similar. The rest of the shades, they're not. But so if you have I've just lost my train of thought. Oh my goodness, Jennifer. If you have the Rose Decadence and you really like that, that's a 6-pan, obviously. There are 2 shades in there that are very similar to the Insolent Rose. Yeah, I have a lot more to compare the Desert Fox to than the Insolent Rose, I have to say. Sorry guys, but I just don't have a ton of pink in my collection. I'm working on it. I'm improving. I'm pulling in more pinks as we go. So let's take the mini booster. This is the Sonia G. And let's go into this like rosy shade here. Gonna say rose a lot probably. There's a lot of kick up. These are, like I said, much more powdery formula. How well that works on the eye compared to the wet dry formula, I think depends. I really love the wet dry formula. It is my favorite of Tom Ford. That's not to say that I don't like these, but generally I'm not like as wowed by these because they just sort of seem like other palettes, that I have. Not saying bad, just not as unique in the way that the formula works. But they work really pretty, they work really well, and they look really pretty. So I'm not, saying that they're bad, but if you have, I think, imperfections in your skin, then I think actually these work pretty well because they are more of that powdery, lighter pigment kind of formula. They remind me a little bit of Chanel. Tends to be a little bit more like this, at least lately. Chanel, when I worked there, was a little different, but that was a very long time ago. So yeah, I mean, you can see that blended really well. It looks really nice. It has, a beautiful finish, but there's not, I think you could probably find this shade and this type of formula in a lot of different palettes. Not bad. I'm just saying, let's face it guys, Tom Ford is expensive. I know it. But, like I said in my Desert Fox video, I do feel like I can count on Tom Ford to at least look good. Not always worth the money that I spend, but at least that it will look good on me. I do have texture on my eyes. One, because I'm older, and 2, I have, as I've mentioned before, I've had a lot of, I'm going into the like sort of mocha brown shade. I've had a lot of allergies in my life, and my eyes are usually the ones that are affected like first. My eyes swelled shut when I was in college. Turns out I was allergic to lilacs. I've had, lots of incidents where I'm allergic to something and my eyes are the first to like get red and inflamed. So, over the years, they're not smooth anymore. The skin on my eyelids is not smooth anymore. And that would be true even if I wasn't older, because of all the damage to my eyes because of the allergies. Any of you who suffer from allergies, you know what I'm talking about. Your eyes are the first to be affected often. So this actually is looking really nice, very smooth, and it's blending out really well. It's not super pigmented though, I would say. Again, I'm super pale, so these shades, the Desert Fox was much more pigmented than this. Not bad for me, obviously, but if you're looking for more payoff and you like these shades, the Rose Decadence is probably a good choice. Just, you know, off the cuff. Okay, so let's take the this very like creamy shade, which when I swatched it, you could see it's like very powdery. I'm using the Sonia G Smudger 1 brush, and I'm actually just gonna use that up in the brow bone. I like this brush actually for more than just smudging, because it's like a very dense, let's see if you can see it. It's white, like, so it's kind of hard to tell. But it's a very dense little brush, but it lays down like a good amount of pigment while at the same time giving you like control over where you put it. So you don't just have to use it like a smudger. You know, you can also use it like I'm using it now to lay down where you want to be like more precise, but you want to put down, you know, more pigment. Yeah, I think that looks really pretty because it's just like a light wash. So now I'm gonna take this like more of a topper shade, like I said before. I'm gonna use my finger, we'll see how that works, and I'll put that on the eyelid. As you probably noticed, I left kind of part of my eyelid free of any shade. So we'll see if this needs like, you know, a shade underneath it, or if it's something that I can build up a little, or is it truly a topper? When I say topper, guys, really what I mean is that there are some shades that have no opacity whatsoever, and really you need a shade underneath for them to even work. You know, they're just sparkle. This one though, I think that actually works. It doesn't have a lot of opacity. It's more of a sparkly shade, more of just a topper, but I think you can put it on the skin without anything underneath, as long as you're okay with a light look. Now, there was some fallout from that, not a surprise, because it's very like sparkly and glittery, but it does look kind of pretty. But I do have a little bit all over my face, so that's okay. So I'm gonna go back into that rose shade again with the mini booster. I'm just gonna deepen up the crease a little. Yeah, this is a very, and then the browny, purpley, mauve-ish, mushroomy shade. This is a very pretty palette, but it is, in my opinion, not a very pigmented palette. So if you're looking, of the two, the Desert Fox is much more pigmented. Obviously though, the Desert Fox is a very different color story. If you're looking for, you know, the pink rosy color story, this one definitely has that, but there's not a ton of pigment here. This is definitely lighter. I would say, like I said, the Rose Decadence would be, the Pat McGrath would be more what you're interested in if you're looking for this color story but want more pigment. Let's go in with the Wayne Goss, my brain, 05, and we're gonna use that. It's kind of like a mushroom shade. Like, it's got a purple base to it, like a, you know, pinkish, but it's got like a brown. It's hard to explain. Under different lights, it kind of looks a little different, but you can see it's got like, I'd say mushroom would be the best way to explain it. But again, it's not super pigmented, it's light. Okay, we'll take the Wayne Goss number 3 and just buff this out a little. Yeah, I think this is a very pretty, very subtle look though, guys. If you're looking for, you know, like, wow, this is not it. All right, let me bring you in. so you guys can see. All right, so let me put on a little bit of liner. I'll find a Tom Ford one that I think that'll work. Put on some mascara, finish the look off with, we'll pick out a lipstick, and then we'll just talk final thoughts. Okay, final look. I pulled out the Lisa Eldridge lip liner in Muse and the lip gloss in Muse. I don't talk about the Lisa Eldridge combinations very often, the velvet lipsticks, and then of course the liners and lip gloss that she came out with. They are limited edition items, and she only comes out with releases, I think it's twice a year. And so hopefully she'll have one this spring, but I do love her products. The velvet lipsticks are some of my favorites. They're one of the few mattes that I really enjoy wearing. And then this past fall, winter, she came out with lip liners and lip glosses, which I think are beautiful. Muse is a really nice neutral pink that I think works on a lot of folks. So anyway, I just thought it'd be a good combo for the rest of this look. I forgot to bring out before the Natasha Denona, the Mini Love that just came out a little while ago. And so I want to take a look really quickly. These two color stories, they're not actually that similar, but they're, you know, there's some similarities because you're talking about the, you know, the pinks again. Of these, I'm trying to see if any actually look like they'd be close. Not really. The pink, like the topper shade that I put on the eye in the Tom Ford, it really is like a topper shade. I mean, it has some depth, but not a ton. In the Natasha Denona Mini Love, her metallics, you can see like that one is, which one is that one? That's U. You can see U is like much deeper, and that's, you know, like way more complicated because it's a duochrome. And then her others, True Love, True is a metallic, and then Love, but you can see they are much, you know, like more pigmented, deeper. Even though this is a lighter color, it actually has more opacity than the Tom Ford. The Tom Ford really is more of a sparkly topper. Not that that's a bad thing, it's just you should be aware of what, you know, you're looking for. So again, when I said earlier, if you're looking for more pigment to go with the Pat McGrath, I would also say the Natasha Denona Mini Love is a great choice, because I did a look with it, and I'll link it above. Really pretty. It turned out really nice, and the shades in here are really gorgeous. The shade Love, the metallic that I had on this one right here, looks really beautiful on the eye, like really, really stunning. And it's a unique shade. Also, Pat McGrath is coming out with the Divine Rose 2 collection, I think it is, on the 29th. I'm not sure when this is going up, so this might go up, like, maybe it'll go up the same day, or maybe it'll go up right after the Pat McGrath. That does have a quad in there that might have a more similar color story to this Tom Ford, but, you know, Pat McGrath is usually more pigmented. So again, that might be something you're interested in. This look, and I think you guys can see it, it's very pretty. It's not like it's not a nice eye look. It's actually very elegant, and I like it. I actually think it looks really nice on the eye. It's not drawing any attention to lines or bumps or scars or anything. And I think it looks really pretty. The thing that you have to, you have to measure and weigh is, I think these are $88. I think that sounds right. So, you could find this type of color story in a couple of different quads right now, or palettes. The Natasha Denona, the Pat McGrath, the Christian Dior. And they're similar. Are they the same and exactly the same? No, they're not. As I showed you on my arm, there's differences. But if you like a pink plum rose type of color story, there are other options out there for you. So overall, my opinion is I really like it. I'm glad I have it. I think it looks really pretty on my skin. I think it goes well with my coloring. I'm getting more accustomed to pinks and liking them more and more the more I use them. And you know, I think it actually looks really nice with the Muse. I think that's a good combination. But again, I think it's, you know, up to you guys to decide. So yeah, all in all, I'm really glad to have this palette. I think it looks really pretty. I am a Tom Ford lover, and you know, I have a large Tom Ford collection. I'm glad to add this one to it. And I have to say, I do think it looks really pretty on the eye. So those are my thoughts. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I really appreciate it. Hope to see you in another video really soon.